Welcome to GameStop Hometown Heroes, presented by PlayStation 4. We're coming to you live from the ESL studios in Burbank, California. I'm Joshua Gray, joined by Evan Hashimoto. No Dustin Kane tonight, but he will be back with us next week. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these top Injustice 2 online players from Miami are gonna bring the heat.
Oh yeah, we've seen some of these players before, but a lot of them are completely new faces to us. And of course, this is Hometown Heroes, which is a 10-week season, and each of these players competes in one of 8 regions, 4 points. The top 4 in each region at the end of the season will play at their local GameStop, which then of course leads up to the finals at the GameStop Consumer Expo in Las Vegas.
Every point, every placement matters, and it's now starting to move towards those regional finals happening on August 12th, and we want you guys to come out and support these players. They will physically be in these GameStop stores on August 12th. We'll release a couple more details on the time, but you can note those different addresses and locations, and we want you to come out and support those players. And we're going to be bringing you all of the gameplay the following day on August 13th, and that's going to be 24 hours worth of Injustice 2 extravaganza. So much competition. But if you guys want more information about the program, make sure to visit our website, esl.gg/GameStop Hometown Heroes. And we also had a lot of big news and big events happen for Injustice 2. I was at Comic-Con for DC Comics. We got to host the King of the Hill series for Injustice 2. It was a big hit there. And we got to see the Starfire reveal.
Oh, Starfire looks so cool. I love all of her animations. I think she's going to play really unique, just from what we've seen already, just in the trailer. But, of course, the big thing that I'm excited for is Bizarro.
Yeah, new premiere skins as well. I'm looking forward to more announcements. And, of course, you can always follow Ed Boon on Twitter to see what some of those announcements are. We also had a couple victories here along some different tournaments. Circa Forever King won DreamHack Atlanta. But one of the big talking points that's been happening is the latest patch update. No full patch notes yet, but there was a stream thanks to NetherRealm Studios. Evan, what's your reaction on some of the news about the patch?
Wow, the changes are huge. The meta is going to completely change. We've already seen some of these top players picking up new characters, trying new things, getting ready. We saw Sonic Fox using Catwoman recently, and I know that that's a character that you play, so tell me what you think about her changes.
I'm okay. I'm okay with the changes. I made a mistake thinking that she was losing the armor on her back 3, but that wasn't the case. It's just her cat dash. I agree with what NetherRealm is doing, which is great. Also, the changes to Aquaman have sent ripples throughout the entire world. So looking forward to the changes. Again, full patch notes will be released by NetherRealm when the patch is going to come out. Also in tournament news, War of the Gods, speaking of Catwoman again, Samij is dominating right now. He defeated his last opponent, Forever King, 6-0. And has won 4 straight victories for War of the Gods. You guys can sign up for War of the Gods on Saturdays, and you can tune into their top 8s on Tuesdays. More information, gauntlet.gg/war, and watch the stream at stream.me/war. Evan, we also have a number of events around the corner.
We do. Now, EVO just finished, but that does not mean that the season is over. There are plenty of IPS tournaments left, including August 5th through 6th. We have both Vianality and, I believe, Defend the North. And then, of course, after that, 11th through 13th, we have Summer Jam and Versus fighting. So that's 2 big double whammies, and actually a triple whammy for the second one, because on top of that, we do have the GameStop Hometown Heroes Regional Finals. A little bit after that, we have Absolute Battle 8, and at the same time as that, the GameStop Hometown Heroes Top 8 in Las Vegas, all seeding into E-League.
E-League starting October 27th for the first broadcast, and subsequent Fridays afterwards. As Evan said, it's all going to lead into this big grand final. So plenty of events, plenty of tournaments for players to participate in. Let's move on and talk about the Miami region. The players we're going to see battle for points tonight. Leading the charge is DR Viking at 400 points, followed by Odie Full Auto at 350, then DR Gross, who we saw at EVO at 300, then Samij, another EVO player, at 275. But Fox and BeyondToxin are just that much closer after the points they're going to earn today to make it to the top 4. So plenty of great storylines going to happen tonight. When it comes to you watching at home, we want to hear from you on social media. So make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, ESL Injustice, using the hashtag Hometown Heroes. And we want to hear from you on Twitter because we're going to show your tweets on the broadcast. We've had a number of good ones so far within the whole season. Our VOD's going to be available on YouTube, youtube.com/ESLTV. And one more announcement from the world of social media. Because the 10th week is up to you, we're starting the vote today. That's right. It's the fan choice for which region will be featured for Week 10 broadcast. You guys can vote for the first 4 regions right now on Twitter. Make sure to follow us at ESL Injustice. Tomorrow will be the other 4 regions you can vote for. At the end of that voting cycle, the top 2 regions based off today and tomorrow will vote head-to-head on Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday we'll announce the winner. So go vote now.
Yeah, and I know we saw a lot of really cool stuff from a lot of these regions so far. So let's actually look at a few of the regions, in fact, including this one, which we'll definitely see a second time no matter what, because next week we will be revisiting Los Angeles, where Nubcakes is, I think, in the highest lead that anybody has.
I think so.
Yeah, 500 points. That's ridiculous. And then, so he's pretty much guaranteed. Following him will be Crazy, who was almost guaranteed. Still, there could be some upsets, and behind him, DJT and Rewind tied for that 4th place spot.
Looking forward to Sunday's matches to find what's going to happen in the points world, and we will see those top players broadcasted next week. Let's take a look at San Francisco. Dab leading the charge, 425. Always great to see him doing well. Kinetic Sicarios, Blind, Sucky Ducky, and CR Wound Cowboy, who we saw win a couple weeks ago on the broadcast, are in the lead for top 4, but Everlast is tied with Wound Cowboy, and Crunchy Christian is trying to get back to that top 4 at 6th place. It's still a lot of upsets that can happen over the next couple weeks. Let's take a look at the bracket.
All right, so our first match of the night will be Top 7 Gaming DR Viking against Noble BeyondToxin, 2 players that are extremely successful not only in Hometown Heroes, but in their local tournaments. And following that will be Zyfox, the Flash player, against OD Full Auto. We've seen OD on both the Seattle and Chicago regions already.
And then rounding out the final 4 players from the losers bracket, we have Game Freaks, Scarecrow player, currently ranked 7th in the region, and then Skadar, a Gorilla Grodd player for you Gorilla Grodd fans out there. Grim TG, Poison Ivy, currently ranked 10th, and Grape playing as Firestorm. By the way, found out that Grape's real name is Arthur Welch. I think that's one of the perfect name choices when it comes to a gamer tag. Well done. You're a champion in and of itself for that, good sir. Well, Evan, we're just about ready for the first matchup. DR Viking is one of our first players from West Palm Beach. Likes to main Atrocitus, uses Firestorm and Darkside, plays 17th at EVO 2017. Quotes himself as the family man and currently ranked #1 in the region.
Oh, and then his opponent will be Nobles BeyondToxin from Orlando, Florida. Known for his Scarecrow, but been picking up some characters recently. Supergirl, Batman, also plays 17th at EVO, so tied with his first round opponent. And making gains is important is his quote for today. And he's in, again, that 6th spot. He needs a few more points, so the better he does today, the better his chances are of making that top 4 regional finals.
Exactly, and this could be a couple revenge matches a little bit later in the bracket. Viking defeated Skadar 70 in the bracket this week. BeyondToxin took out Game Freaks. So if we see any of these 2 fall into the losers bracket, we could see that revenge match. We're just about ready to start off this matchup against these 2 players. But I also really want to see how Atrocitus is going to change up a little bit after the patch. We'll see the type of effective back and forth play style we'll see from DR Viking tonight.
Right. One of the least changed characters is Scarecrow, because he literally has no changes from what they've said. So that is almost definitely going to be who Toxin ends up sticking with. But like you were saying, top tier only, aka Viking, is playing one of the characters that has been announced to receive some normalizations, as they like to say. Now, they're not too bad overall. Definitely compared to some of the other characters who are normalized, but we'll see if he chooses to stick with him. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some interesting picks tonight of characters that people may be using in preparation for this upcoming patch.
First damage dealt by Toxin, however, he's starting to get assaulted from Atrocitus, really pushing forward, using that shield. There's the Blood NATO, the back 3, and now BeyondToxin doesn't settle for the corner. Viking continues to push.
Oh, okay, so throughout that whole combo, he had the Blood Aura on. He was draining life from Toxin, and it drained for so long that he actually charged up enough so that he could use the explosion, which only happens once you've absorbed a certain amount of life. And then he used that perfectly to counter the interactable and launch.
Good overhead and trade coming from BeyondToxin, but Viking is going to take the first health bar.
And so far, he has kept some pretty good momentum, but right now is the time that Toxin needs to strike. Now, slowly, we see Dexstar coming back, and it should be back by the end of this combo, so that's sort of an opportunity missed.
There's a clash.
Admit your fears. I admit nothing.
No admission. No admission from Atrocitus. 2-1 for the trade. That's going to go to the attacker for 15%. BeyondToxin just still trying to find that opening, but Atrocitus is not allowing any window of opportunity for BeyondToxin here.
And this should be close to death. It would have been had it not been dropped. Still, a huge lead for Viking. Oh, he dropped a few opportunities right there, but still, you know, now at this point, he can walk away, just try to chip Toxin out.
All right, he gets the overhead, gets a health bar reset, but the health advantage for Viking right now is almost insurmountable.
And with Dexstar out, it's going to be very difficult for him to not be able to close this out. And that would have been guaranteed chip. We actually could have seen maybe a push block, but regardless, it would have been tough for Toxin to take that back. A solid first game for Viking.
It's always one of the questions you have to ask yourself as a player. Do I spend meter on this push block? Do I save it for the clash? Do I use it for a move a little bit later? All that is going through their minds in the moment, and you have to think a couple steps ahead with that meter management, and that's really going to separate the champions from the pros to the amateurs.
Absolutely, especially just the decision of either using it defensively or using it offensively. Even just in a broad sense, that is such a tough decision, especially with a character like Scarecrow, who can just spend all of his meter all in a row solely on offense and mix-ups, or he could be using it for push blocks and meter burn rolls to play more defensive. It's 100% based on the player, and that really shows when you have a top player like Toxin.
I'm loving this gear from Toxin, the Plague Master. Ooh, ooh. There's that mix-up of the Dexstar hit, and then the low NATO, the blood NATO coming in. Oh, Atrocitus not able to complete the combo.
And I like that Toxin, oh wow, actually, so Toxin put up his trait so that he could just take a little bit of chip damage as long as he's close to Viking, but Viking did the same thing with his blood aura.
There's that blood NATO again. Atrocitus leading the charge so far in this fight. BeyondToxin blocks a Dexstar. Good defense, still looking for that opening, uses the interactable, trades sides, now Atrocitus in the corner.
And this is one of the strongest interactables in the entire game, so much so that there's actually a normalization coming for it in the next patch. It has a very low cooldown, and if you're standing right in the center of where the shard drops, it's actually unblockable.
Ooh, that hurts. Oh, and there's the opening that BeyondToxin needed. Almost 300 damage on that combo, but Atrocitus has an answer of his own. Viking continues the onslaught. There's a clash.
Are you distressed? Not so far.
Pretty accurate. Pretty accurate for the matchup.
It is actually extremely accurate. And Toxin, what he really needs to do is actually make him distressed. He needs to get some sort of pressure going. He needs to start to mix up so that Viking can't just kind of play it safe and just take all these little bits of guaranteed damage that he's getting.
Blood NATO again. There's the enhanced move for the meter burn. Again, continuing the combo. Over 330 damage on that one. And the interactable.
Ooh, this is going to be so tough for Toxin to make it back. And again, with Dexstar out, you are automatically taking a decent amount of chip damage. Just goes head first into the shield. He's like, you know what?
He knew it was over.
Yeah, that's that.
Wins.
All right, up 2-0. Viking showing off why he was the winner of a previous week, but he has not taken first place in this region since.
That is true. The past 3 weeks, he has lost every week to Gross in Grand Finals. Now, Gross, of course, was top 8 at EVO, and he's not here. He's not present this week for whatever reason. Also, Samij, another top 8 placer at EVO, is also not present in this bracket this week for whatever reason.
Another opportunity for these players to go up in points.
This is the most important opportunity for them to go up in points. And Toxin, like we said, really needs these points. He needs 45 points today to make it into the top 4. Now, even if he loses here, he is in the winner's bracket, so he will have a chance in losers, but he could still make this back if he can take the momentum.
At the mid game now, Dexstar uses a shield. Viking pushing up for the assault. BeyondToxin getting closer and closer to that corner, the exact place you do not want to be. And Atrocitus continues the damage, 250 for that string, and there is just back and forth trades of blocks. Block and block, trade and trade. Atrocitus is winning these trades, though.
And Toxin is blocking so much. His defense has been amazing, but he's still taking so much chip. He's getting hit every once in a while, and I would really love to see him use that meter defensively, just like you were saying earlier. We could see a push block. We could see an armored, maybe interactable. That is a really great way to get out of pressure. But right now, he's taking it all.
And there's another health bar down. Noble, BeyondToxin is on the ropes against DR Viking.
And Viking, he has a positive history in wins in GameStop Hometown Hero against every single competitor today, except for Full Auto. And not only positive, he has literally never been beaten by one of these other players in Hometown Heroes. So throughout the past 8 weeks, including this week, Viking has been 3-0 against Toxin in sets.
Well, it's almost 4-0 now. Health bar just at half, but there's a back three from Scarecrow. BeyondToxin still's got some fight left in him.
And he's in a good spot. No, decides not to use the interactable. There's some very strong interactables on this level for both power and gadget characters, but I guess he's just choosing to try to push the advantage, try to take Viking to the corner, because that is where Scarecrow is easily the most deadly.
Able to punish the interactable choice from Atrocitus, but still not able to get a full combo against the corner. Atrocitus with the mids pushes forward. No connection. BeyondToxin again trying to find an opening, but the defense from DR Viking right now is just too much.
And now it's his turn to approach. It is going to be hard. Toxin needs to wait out the end of Dexstar, which he does. So if he's going to make a comeback, oh no!
Just misses. Just misses.
Almost got under it with that tiny little hitbox. Oh, and this should be a punish. No, that is a huge drop. That actually wasn't safe, but no punish still. It's enough for Viking to take back the advantage and close it out with just a raw footsie strength.
Raw footsie strength for sure. And I noticed Atrocitus, at least thought DR Viking would stay at range until he would activate the shield and then push forward. But as soon as he was up in the face of Scarecrow, he was able to dictate everything that happened in that last matchup.
Yeah, the defensive options were just not there from Toxin. Again, I would have liked to see him use a little bit of his meter. He did have a lot of meter to spare in a lot of situations, and obviously there are ways to bait push block, but if you don't try it even once, then, I mean, you're never testing your opponent. You have to test your opponent to see if they can counter your counters, otherwise, what's the point?
And it will make a difference, especially when they get accustomed to the same moveset that you've been doing or the same options you've been doing.